Good afternoon. I call to order the informal meeting of the plenary to hear a briefing by the Special Envoy of the Secretary General on Myanmar. As announced in my letter on May 19th, 2026, this briefing is convened pursuant to Resolution 80/221 entitled Situation of Human Rights of Rohingya, Muslim and Other Minorities in Myanmar of December 18th, 2025. I would like to welcome Ms. Julie Bishop, Special Envoy of the Secretary General on Myanmar. Thank you so much for joining and having this briefing today. I kindly remind delegation that there will be an opportunity for interventions after the briefing. I will now make a statement as the President of the General Assembly. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, I welcome the timely briefing from the Special Envoy of the Secretary General on Myanmar, Ms. Julie Bishop, and commend her ongoing efforts to help find a peaceful, inclusive, and sustainable path forward for the people of Myanmar. Many of you were present last September at the high-level conference on the situation of Rohingya Muslims and other minorities in Myanmar, where member states and civil society participants spoke clearly about the priorities ahead. 3 stood out. First, advancing a lasting resolution on this crisis, one centered on building trust among all communities and giving them a shared stake in Myanmar's future as part of an inclusive peace process. Second, establishing the conditions for refugees to return home voluntarily, safely, and with dignity. Third, ensuring adequate and sustained financial support to meet the basic needs of refugees and internally displaced persons, including food, healthcare, and education. Today's briefing gives us an opportunity to hear directly from the Special Envoy, take stock of the situation in Myanmar, and consider how we can respond with greater urgency and unity. Since we met in September, the situation in Myanmar, and especially for the Rohingya people, has remained alarming. As of May, the humanitarian needs and response plan for Myanmar in 2026 is only 38% funded, with $340 million received against the $890 million required. That gap is measured in meals not served and treatment not provided. Since the end of February, a sharp rise in food and fuel prices, driven in part by the crisis in the Middle East, has placed further pressure on families across the country. Staple food prices have risen by 18% nationwide on average, resulting in acute food insecurity for approximately 12.4 million people, a quarter of Myanmar's population. Meanwhile, violence against civilians has intensified, with 1,140 airstrikes on civilian targets in 2025 alone, killing people indiscriminately, including children. These attacks have continued this year. This violence is compounded by continued repression. The conditions for peace require the immediate and unconditional release of all political prisoners and others arbitrarily detained. Peace also requires inclusion, accountability, and protection for all communities. Myanmar's future cannot be built with Rohingya and other minorities continue to face discrimination, exclusion, displacement, and insecurity. Their rights, dignity, and place in Myanmar's future must be recognized as part of any sustainable solution. We cannot allow a 9th year of Rohingya crisis to pass without change. Many children know nothing than displacement. Therefore, renewing our commitment in keeping with Resolution 80/221 to support humanitarian efforts that meet the needs of all those affected and to advance a sustainable solution to the situation in Myanmar, including the challenges faced by the Rohingya and other minorities, is crucial. But it means little without delivery and implementation on the ground. Therefore, it is so important to underline our strong commitment as a General Assembly, and it's my honor to give the floor to the Special Envoy, Ms. Bishop. We look forward to your briefing. Please.